Hi, let's begin today's session of Excel shortcut with selection shortcut. I'll be explaining on Excel selection shortcut used. You're watching my channel djthomasedu-world.net. I am Deepak Jacob Thomas. Let's move on to Excel shortcuts for selection. Here we will be explaining with first selection shortcut is Ctrl plus N. Assuming this is my data range, here this selection of Ctrl plus N will take to the intersection of the outermost column and row which has been used. That means if my active cell is in A3 and I press Ctrl and N, it will take to this active cell F14, that is the last intersection value of row and column used. Likewise, we will see an example for Ctrl plus N. I have data here and I enter a few data and further delete it. Now it should take this as the cell of last intersection value when I press Ctrl plus N. Let's see whether it functions. Ctrl and N. No, it does not function. Since we have entered the data here, it will take this active cell F20T as the last intersection value of the column and row. If we want to be in this data range, the last intersection column, please delete the previous data and make sure we use save. Now we will press again Ctrl and N. We can see that it will go back in this range of data F14 as the last intersection value of column and a row. Next is Ctrl plus home key. This shortcut is performed when if in this data range, assuming your active cell is in this selection and we press Ctrl and home key, it will go to the intersection value of the first visible cell, that is for the column and the row, which is the first visible cell. This is A1. It goes to this position. Likewise, for this data range, I will be explaining Ctrl plus home key by freezing this panel of column A. I'll go to view and give freeze column. Let's see, it is freezed. Yes, this column is freezed. Now I'll click on active cell A6. As per condition, this when I press Ctrl and home key, this should be the cell should be selected. Let's see whether this happens or not. Ctrl and home key. No, it moves to this active cell B. Why? Because it will not consider the cell which is frozen. It will consider the cell which is moving. Here this will be my first visible cell. This is how Ctrl plus home key is used. Next, moving on to Ctrl plus arrow key. Here in this selection shortcuts, assuming my active cell was in this position, say F2, I press Ctrl and a down arrow, we can see that the selection will take to the last column before a blank cell. Further again I perform Ctrl and down arrow, it will move a column before a blank cell and it will not take any of the blank cells. Further, shift plus arrow, say that this is my range selected, I will use shift key and a down arrow. What it does is that it will just highlight the cell at the start and the cell just below it. That means we have started here and one cell down till here, the selection will be done. Now Ctrl, Shift and N, this is also a selection shortcut. Say that my active cell is in this criteria. When we press Ctrl key, Shift key and N key, what happens is that it will highlight all the active cells to the last use cells. Now we will go for Ctrl plus Shift plus Home. Say that this is my range of data, my active cell is in this. I'll press Ctrl plus Shift plus Home. What is that? It will go for selection from this range to the first visible cell. This is how Ctrl plus Shift plus Home is used for selection. Lastly, the selection data shortcut is Ctrl A. Say that my active cell is in any of this range of data, and I press Ctrl and A, it will select all the data in this range. This is how we can use selection shortcuts in Excel. This concludes the session of selection shortcuts. Hope you like my videos. Signing off, Deepak Jacob Thomas.